Good morning to all. Good evening to all.
Morning, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
So, shall we wait for 2-3 minutes?
No, sir, we will continue. It is already live stream.
Okay, right. Thank you. So, yesterday I have seen two theories of psychology, personality development. Karen Harney's interpersonal theory and Sullivan's psychiatric theory of personality. Now, today we see last unit in psychoanalytical personality development theory. This is unit number 14. Please see unit number 14, page number 122. It is in my book. Please check into that. Okay. Erik Erikson's personality development is widely viewed as more practical among all the psychoanalytical theories of personality development. Anybody ask you about your personality, what is your personality? Then instead of going and testing Big 5 or 60, F16, PF16 tests, you can straight away go into psychoanalytical theory of Erik Erikson, check in your personality development, where it went wrong or where the strengths are added to your personality development. He gives weaknesses that are there in your personality during the process of development at different stages. You can check yourself, what are the virtues you added, what are the vices you added, what are the strengths you added, what are the weaknesses you added to your personality. By your activities with the social interactions and need fulfillment among different activities, how you did it. This you can check. It is very highly useful, practically usable theory. In education field, basically, it is used elaborately across the globe. We will discuss that also. Even for adolescence counseling, even at any stage of development, any stage of any development stage, you want to counsel their problems, you have to come here and look into that stage and the previous stages where earlier I told vices, virtues, strengths, and weaknesses, they are there in your personality. You have to check it and then try to modify them through counseling. And we will take up one or two cases during the discussion. Also have some one or two small questions in order to understand this. Coming to the theory, let us see the biography of the propounder of this theory. This is psychosocial development theory of personality. Psychosocial development. Freud gave which theory?
Analysis.
Psychoanalytic theory.
Psychoanalysis.
Psycho-personality development. Theory of personality development. This is psychosocial development. What is Freud's theory?
Analytic.
Psychoanalytic, sir.
Okay, that is his approach and approach to the psychology. Psychoanalytically, broadly speaking, what is that he focused more on to explain?
Ego, super ego, sir.
That is called a psychosexual development of personality. Okay, please remember this point, because if you get explain psychosexual developmental theory of personality, if you write it, you have to first start with the Freud's theory. So you can add, that is part of psychoanalytics only, no doubt in it. But the word you have to use there is psychosexual, because it is based on sexual energy, libido. And which part of the structure of the personality focuses more on this energy? It is eth. It is the assigns energy to your desires. So here, Erikson deviated from him. He gave more importance to ego. Ego is a constructive force here. There in Freud, whatever ego says, the ego tries to control it, saying that no, it is not a time to fulfill it, or it is not according to the ethics, or not according to the social norms, or time is not right, or else somebody is there, some alibis or something it takes to control ego. Also to control the superego, which says stringent ethical values, which is try to impose, then ego checks. This is only the controlling aspect or administration aspect Freud gave to ego. But Erikson gave more and more constructive, adaptive, and developmental aspects, attributed these aspects to ego. That we will see now. Now, going back, he is born in Frankfurt, Germany, and then settled in US and died there at the age of 92. He is influenced by Freud, as we all know how Freud theory further taken few steps ahead. In this, he is a student of Freud's daughter, Anna Freud. Anna Freud also deviated on certain aspects from her father, saying that ego and superego, all three are important. Not ego, but ego and superego are equally important. And then she extended ego's self-defenses. Freud gave six self-defenses, but she extended further. This is the role of Anna Freud. As the student of Anna Freud, he gave more importance to ego. And he is also influenced by the feminist psychologist, anthropologist, basically, Margaret Mead. She studied tribals development and also personality development of the adolescents. She also contributed a lot to the psychology. Then Erik Erikson, his childhood experiences actually laid foundation for his development of personality. Whenever you see identity crisis, you have to immediately recognize his experiences during the childhood, how he is not having, he struggled to get the identity for himself. Who I am, what I am. This he is unable to identify himself during the childhood and later ages. That basically made him to develop this thing. So Freud, psychosexual stages, he further rather removed the sexual aspect from the development and focused more on the social experiences. Actually, before his birth, our mother and father got separated. And he don't know that he got mother had a father and they got separated, and he never saw his father. And then he was a Jew, and his mother married a doctor, and she concealed. He used to think that his father is the doctor whom his mother married later. After a long time, he came to know he is not his father. This Dr. Theodor Homberger is not his father, but somebody else. That gave him a shock. That generally we identify with our parents initially with the surname. That gave him a shock. And he thought that his identity is something else. Then after knowing that, he got the confusion. Then he studied, subsequently he went to the school. In the school, he's a very tall and blonde and blue-eyed guy, very tall and robust. People used to mock him. And in some of the schools, because of his appearance, rejected the admission. That is another shock he got regarding his identity. He always says identity, identity, identity. That's why identity crisis is a major contribution to psychology by Erik Erikson. Every stage of our life, we will have identity additions or deletions, or sometimes we will have crisis. This is what he explains in his theory throughout our life. Identity formation and continuation of it influences our personality. That is what he says. So, having known his biography a little bit in order to understand his personality theory, how these childhood experiences contributed to this personality, we can thoroughly understand once you know his theory. Basically, he discusses three elements in the psychology, in his personality development, psychosocial development. One is, as he has given more importance to ego, he himself called his psychology approach to the personality development is ego psychology. This is the first point we have to write, and we have to elaborate when you write about psychosocial development theory of personality of Erik Erikson is given. We will discuss thoroughly about the ego psychology. Then he says that epigenetic principle. Our life stages, we have studied lifespan development.
So what we have to write? Ego psychology, right?
I will discuss ego psychology.
Okay.
His approach is called ego psychology to the personality development.
Okay.
Another point is epigenetic principle. The approach is ego psychology, and the major principle is epigenetic principle. The epigenetic principle is nothing but we are having genes inherited, and they will be influencing our personality development, and body development, and other faculties development as we grow up. Epigenetic principle says that the expression of genes are modified by socio-cultural aspect. That means environment. What is environment in psychology? Other than you is environment. It could be parents, it could be school environment, teachers, and then occupation, marriage, and social groups, caste, cultural class groups, and then religious groups, and commercial groups, all these peer groups, pressure groups, so many elements in our environment influence our genetic expression. They won't change our gene structure as the genetic code.
Sir, which topic we are going through, sir?
This is psycho-social development. Erik Erikson, unit number 14, personality development. Okay. This also we will discuss, elaborately discuss. Then third part is psychosocial stages of personality development. Three parts we have to discuss. There are three areas in this. So one quotation, very famous quotation from Erik Erikson. We all have problems. That is, as we grow up, contagious diseases, that is lifestyle disorders or degenerative disorders, what we say, they are all from the metabolism, problems in the metabolism and other issues and the decay issues. Erik Erikson says that we think that our pathology is due to this. He says that we are always having hazards of existence, always, continuously we face hazards from our existence in the society. This is nothing but our personality. Our personality always engaged with the hazards. That means crisis. That's why he developed the personality development theory based on this crisis. Let us see what the crisis is in everybody's life at different stages, how it is resolved, whether it is resolved positively or negatively. If positively resolved, how many strengths are added or virtues are added. If these crises are not resolved, how many vices are added or weaknesses to our ego or personality are added. And not only that, maladaptations will be resulted from failure to resolve this crisis at each stage of our life. maladaptive features, and malevolent, that means very severe crisis, severe problems, health problems also will be there. That also is discussed. Overall, from the epigenetic principle, there will be in stages human being will be developing. In each stage, there will be crisis. That is called two terms. This crisis has to be resolved by every person. If they are resolved positively, it gives one direction, one result, one type of results, and negatively resolved or fail to resolve, then it gives negative elements that he discussed elaborately in his theory. Now let us go in deep into each aspect of this cycle. Now ego theory, let us see. According to him, ego is more important among all the three. Ego, he, the ego, superego. He says it is not only the mediator. He says that ego has a constructive functions. It is the ego which tries to resolve our issues. It tries to create what you are, whom you are, why you are. These are all issues that are part of your self-identity is created by ego. Not only that, at each stage of the life, you will be having crisis. Earlier we have seen hazardous issues personality faces. That is what Erickson says. To face that, resolve that, ego also help. Ego strengths will be making efforts to resolve it. So it is also having adaptive functions, constructive functions, adaptive functions. What it constructs? It constructs our identity. What it adapts to the crisis that is there with the society or within you, with you and society. It is also creative. Creativity will try to resolve and make you creative also. That's why easy ego is creative, adaptive, and constructive. That's why he says that my approach to personality is ego psychology. So he says that ego is more independent part of our personality. Its goals are, please write down these two goals he mentions. One is mastering the environment. Second one is creating the identity, self-identity. Third one is satisfying the needs. What purpose? To master over the environment that is surroundings or the environment. So ego, as we told, ego thrives. It also develops as we develop. Our preschool stage, schooling stage, adolescent stage, adult stage, all these stages he discusses, the crises he discusses, how they are resolved, he says. If not resolved, what happens? Resolved, what happens? How ego strengths are developed, ego weakness are developed, how maladaptation and malevolence is developed, that he discusses. That's why he says that ego thrives on crisis. Ego thrives on conflicts. This is important element in his personality development. Then we have to, if this crises are not resolved at each stage. Many people think that identity crisis is there in the adolescence, but he says that major part of identity formation will be there in the adolescence, but at each stage, identity is formed and there could be identity crisis. That's why he says that if identity is not clearly formed, what is my role in the family? What is my role in the society? What is my role in regarding the occupation? What occupation I have to take up? Whom I have to marry? These are all part of it. This comes from the identity. If you don't know that who I am, what I can do, what are my capabilities, what I can. Identity is not only present, it is it comes from the past. It thinks of the present and imagines about the future also. This is identity theory. Identity, he explains. So this identity is not from every person will be in the confusion. You don't know what job he has to take up, whom to marry, whether to construct house or not, how to lead the life, how many houses I should have, shall I purchase a car or not. They're all coming from this. So lack of strength will be there from identity crisis. So he classifies ego into three parts for a theoretical purpose. One is body ego. Then another one is ego identity. That is presently what, not presently, what you imagine about yourself. And ideal ego, what you think to be. Then you compare here. This ego ideal gives the satisfaction or dissatisfaction depending on what you want to be, what you are, what is the gap between these two. Body ego is basically physical self. You want to be very robust, of 6 feet. Some imagination will be there for you, but you could not develop that physique. Then there could be satisfaction or dissatisfaction regarding your body look and the functions. And then he says there is ego identity one forms. He imagines about himself, what I should be, what role I should play in my house, in my environment, in my groups, and blah, blah. That is, he imagines about his own identity in the present and the future, what he should be in the future from the present. Then ego ideal represents, this is also image only. Here the comparison he takes with that ideal. And he derives satisfaction, dissatisfaction from that. So dissatisfaction, satisfaction from ego will be there from two elements. One is body ego, another one is ideal ego. By comparing what you want to be, that will be in the ego identity. So this is about his ego theoretical part of his ego psychology. Please remember, always compare with Freud's ego, so you can easily write Erik Erikson's ego psychology, basic elements. What is ego, how it is independent, what are its functions, what it creates, what are its goals, like mastering environment and fulfilling needs and creating identity. And then if a crisis there is resolving it. All these parts we discussed, just you have to remember that. Now coming to the second principle of his psychology, that is epigenetic principle. I already discussed without changing the genetic code, how the genetic expression in terms of our behavior or cognitive or emotional or behavioral aspects are modified by our environment. So this, but please remember, even though he says that epigenetics does not change the genetic code, but changes the expression, he clearly says that man in his life, in stages he develops because of the genes only. He didn't deny the role of genes. Please remember that part. So he says that, but how this development takes place, he says that the growth part, whatever happens, ego development, that is the main force behind this growth and development is epigenetic, that is environmental influences, beliefs, values, and contributions from this environment. So he says that as one develops, there will be crisis, we told, at every part. Each stage there are crises. For example, if for understanding purpose, epigenetic principle, there are certain issues, certain points. To understand, we need some example. I'm giving. In the infancy, the child, infant will be having the crisis, that is trust versus mistrust. Will this world cater my needs? This is his question. First question he poses in his life. Will my needs are satisfied? If parent, earlier we discussed good mother, bad mother, that impression, here also it comes. If good mother takes care consistently with love and affection, mother feeds or taken care of his needs, then there will be positive element. That is, ego will be strengthened there with the virtue of hope. The crisis here is trust versus mistrust. How it is resolved, whether it is positive, the role is there in with the mother in infancy. If mother takes care, resolves the issue, then he develops strength, ego strength. That is based on hope. If hope is not there, means his issues are not resolved. That's unresolved crisis lands him in the fear. So this will be there for lifelong, it will be there, or he may modify subsequently with great effort. But actual critical time is here only. Hope comes because the crisis of trust and mistrust are resolved. So I will stop here. Let us go back to the epigenetics, giving the example of crisis, 2 terms. And here, once these are resolved, he says that epigenetics always brings back this unresolved problem in his life whenever you are doing certain aspects. So reappearance of this unresolved crisis as a problem will be there in his life, unless until with great effort one resolves. It takes time. If it is resolved in that particular age, that infancy, that is 1 to 1.5, that is not there in the hands of the infant, but in the hands of mother. So he says that this epigenetic expression will be there lifelong if it is not resolved. So if this resolution of the crisis is positive, then the ego development or personality development will be positive or integrated. So another point is epigenetics says that personality development will be there in stages, life stages. Each stage will be having a time period. Each stage will be having a crisis. Presently, we will stop there. So here he says that how this expression takes place. Once it is in the each stage, it depends on the earlier stage. The toddler stage, 1.5 years to 3 years, will be influenced by the earlier stage, that is infancy, the crisis of trust and mistrust. So in the toddler stage, there is the concept of autonomy versus shame. He tries to do things on his own. How the person who is not having hope, the child who is not having the hope will perform during this period depends on the trust or mistrust that is added to his personality during the first stage of his life. If the hope is there, with confidence, he will be taking initiative to walk himself, to eat himself, to dress himself. These different issues, he will be taking initiatives to you will enjoys the freedom to do it, because at that age there is exploration, experimentation concepts will be there. So he will be doing more and more and deriving satisfaction, and personality will be developing towards positively in that period. It gives confidence there. Otherwise, despair or hopelessness will be there. So here, coming back to how the expression of the behavior or the cognitive process, emotional process takes place depends on the earlier stages. Each stage depends on early predecessing stages or earlier stages. So next one is in order to go from one stage to other stage, that is from infancy to the old age, we need not master completely the crisis in the east stage. Even without completion or failure to resolve the crisis, you will be moving to the next stage. Unlike in the basic need theory of Whom? Okay.
Maslow.
Maslow, very good. Excellent. Keep it up. So mastery of stage is not required. Now, Erik Erikson says that he says about eight stages. In each stage, always remember epigenetic means environment. Environment means social, cultural aspects. Every stage, from epigenetic perspective, it is an interaction, negotiation between the biological forces and the socio-cultural forces. Important point you have to write. In epigenetics, this is the most important part. In each and every stage, our biological forces are all faculties, biological neurosystem, endocrinal system, etc., etc. And the socio-cultural forces, what they give? Socialization. So what socialization gives us? Rules, expected behavior, expected roles, expected values, expected beliefs, what you have to follow. They're all given by socio-cultural forces. It is up to you, your ego and you, to take up them. So there will be always a negotiation at each stage from epigenetic perspective. These forces try to resolve it through the negotiation. It also helps in development of personality. So epigenetic principle says that in stages one develops, need not master all the eight to go to the next stage. Each stage development and crisis resolution depends on the previous stages. In each stage, there is a crisis, there is negotiation. The crisis is between if you say infant, that is trust versus mistrust. And then, just 1 minute. Sorry. So this crisis, it tells as a task to be performed. This is one of the task of this stage. In crisis, there will be two opposing forces will be there. For example, if you say infancy, it is trust versus mistrust. Each stage we will discuss elaborately because it will be more useful for you in your life, also in your to how to pay for parenting, also resolving your crisis even in the old age, different ages. Okay, this interaction of opposite forces are to be resolved. And here epigenetic principle says that, shall we master both or one? Anyone? Can anybody tell? Trust versus mistrust is there of the child. Whether we have to master trust or mistrust or learn both. Won't learn one thing, learn one thing only. Can anybody tell? What is your guess?
Sir? Both, I think so, sir.
Yeah.
Both should be learnt.
Good, excellent. Both should be learned. Most of the people think that only trust should be inculcated into the child by the mother. But mistrust also little bit, not more mistrust. In proportion, predominantly it will be trust and little bit. Mistrust also should be taught to the infants. That means sometimes you should avoid feeding in time. Because this trust and mistrust internally forms a perception about the world, about the mother. That whatever attributes he gives to the mother, he extends to the society. That hope, whatever he gets from mother, trust he gets from the mother, he extends to the society. If he believes that everybody, society is good, then he will fail. Other people will deceive him. So there he will become gullible fool. In order to avoid that, both should be taught. The positive element should be taught more dominantly, and less should be of the negative element of these two opposing forces. So there is optimal time for each stage. That we already know it. So now we are going to discuss. Before that, there are few elements are there. Epigenetic principle says that these stages are not in your hand. Please remember this. You cannot push your child to become adult or adolescent within 5 years or 3 years. There is a maturation process. There is genetic expression. There is proper environment for that. There should be proper epigenetics for that. It is not single aspect of epigenetic. It is depending on all these three elements. So these stages are beyond our control. Neither we can slow the process or rush the process. So it will be dangerous if you do it rushing. But in certain elements of the modern technology, people this timeline is a little bit going array. Okay. So now coming back, each stage is resolved either positively or negatively. If resolution is successful, then there will be positive value that is called as virtue or ego strength will be there from that. And if not resolved, it leads to unsuccessfully resolved, it leads to fear that ego weakness will be happening. So virtues and vices, hope and fear will be added to the personality. It will impact your identity. So it can create a crisis here. So positive resolution will remove identity crisis, add virtues, strengthen the ego, and proper life will be there, and personality development will be there. This ego strength and ego weaknesses are called ego qualities. They will be there in each stage. This is about, we have seen about ego psychology. Then we have seen about the epigenetic principle, different stages, resolution, and genetic expression, and then how it changes. If not resolved, problem is recurring, how it recurs, mastery is not required, and it is there will be negotiation of biological forces and the epigenetic forces, the social cultural forces. There will be crisis. Pardon.
Sir, can you say the page number of the epigenetic principle, sir?
Epigenetic principle may not be there in your book.
Okay.
It's not there, I think. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay. Sir.
Maybe there in the introduction. It is there in the introduction. Okay. Initial place only. Now,
Okay.
coming to okay, yeah, the epigenetic principles we completed. Now we are going for different stages of personality development given by Erickson. So in order to develop, there are 6 basic principles regarding the stages of personality development. This is each stage is determined genetically. The growth, first one, growth takes place according to epigenetic principles I discussed earlier. There is ascendancy when points are all favorable elements are integrated, then that particular stage will be resolved successfully. Second one is through that there will be ascendancy, the negotiation of biological forces, how our organ development takes place, how our cognitive development and emotional development, language development, moral development, different issues will be taking place in each stage in phase wise. That they are all part of this epigenetic principle. So next principle is there will be interaction of opposing forces. He says that there will be conflict. This is trust versus mistrust, as we discussed earlier. We told that ego thrives and develops, progresses on crisis and conflicts. The positive element is called as syntonic, syntonic. That is a hard bracket, harmonious, you can write. And dystonic is disruptive, not according to the expected goal. So during the infancy, the basic trust is called as syntonic tendency, and opposite to that mistrust, the basic mistrust is called dystonic tendency. So first principle is genetic determination, second one is epigenetic determination, and third, next interaction of opposite forces, crisis will be there. Then if it will be resolved if positively resolved, what happens? It adds strength to the ego. If negatively resolved or unresolved, it adds weakness to our ego, also creates identity crisis. So another point, he says that ego identity is shaped by different conflicts and events of past, present, and future. Identity crisis you have to write. Ego identity is a factor of 3 forces you have to write. And then there are age stages determined by genetics, epigenetic principle, interaction of the crisis, and ego strengths are added. These are part of our personality development, basic assumptions, we can say, of Erik Erikson personality development. Now, let us see Erik Erikson's theory. First one is in the stages. The first one is basic trust versus basic mistrust. Please write the word basic in front of both trust and mistrust. It is basic during the early stage. Whatever trust and mistrust you adopt during other stages, other 7 stages are called just trust and mistrust. In the infancy, it is called as basic trust and basic mistrust. Please remember that point. Second stage is autonomy versus shame and doubt. This is first one is 1.5 years, just as Freud time period is same time period is there for first 3 stages of Erik Erikson. There are 8 stages. First stage is infancy, 1 to 1.5 year, and 1 to 18 months. Who is the main player? Significant relationship will be there during this period with whom? That we have to write before writing other aspects. Mother.
Mother.
Good. What mother does now? Mother takes care of his needs like feeding. She gives, and the infant also gives back the kiss or hug or smile or touch. That also will be there. So mother will be feeding and comforting and teething or making sleep, washing him. There are different activities. These activities of mother determine his trust. So who is the significant person during that age you have to write? What are the activities that determine the resolution of the crisis you have to write? Please remember that. What are the activities that determine the resolution of the crisis? Trust versus mistrust also you have to write. Now here, what happens in this stage? If needs are comfortably, affectionately, and dependably, consistently, different words Erikson uses, are met, infant develop sense of basic trust. If they are not, infant develop mistrust. If trust means positive resolution. If positive resolution is there, infant develops virtue of hope. If this is mistrust, negative resolution or irresolution or unsuccessful resolution, different words you can use. It leads to mistrust. Mistrust leads to development of vice, that is fear. Then what is this existential question for the child during this period? Before this resolution, can I trust the world? Will my needs fulfilled? He is crying for the food or milk. If you are not giving, then he develops, can I trust the world? First internally he thinks about mother. Can I trust my mother? Then same internal phenomena what he accumulates during that 1.5 year period regarding his needs, he extends that to the world. And he thinks that world is good or bad. World is trustable, untrustable. If you see analysis of beliefs, for the first primary belief, depending on that other beliefs in human being develops, is that primal belief that is called, that is whether the world is good or bad. This is not told by Eric Erikson, generally I am telling, so that you can remember that. Your beliefs also change if you change this primal belief. This is part of positive psychology. Okay. Now coming back, this trusting the mother extended to the trusting the environment or the world. So here mother is mistrustful. Mother is not creating the hope. Mother is creating rather fear because of abandonment of her or his needs or infant needs. So here what happens? What happens due to this positive resolution is hope is created. If this hope is not created, the voice of fear will be coming. And what maladaptation child will be having, that problem child will be having is sensory distortion. This point is not there in the book. Please write it down. Sensory distortion will be there. So this our sensory means vision, hearing, touch, taste. So here what Freud said, what is the fixation comes here in the first oral fixations will be there, a thumb sucking, and subsequently it develops what? Smoking, drinking habits, other things. This is same is told, not same, similar analysis is done by Erikson, and he says that here sensory distortions. He did not say about the oral fixation. He said about sensory distortion. Later it leads to sensory maladjustment. You cannot adjust to the sounds, cannot see light or dim light, or he wants to sit in the darkness, or cannot sit in the darkness. Like the sensory distortions will be there. What is the highest severe problem? The high severe problem, he says that as malignancy. Less severe problem he called as maladaptation. What is the highly severe problem one faces during this period that extends to the entire life also, if not resolved in the subsequent phases slowly? It is called as withdrawal. So some people are withdrawn, isolated, they won't come forward, no initiative, not meeting people, social phobia, social fear, all these aspects will be down. This is first stage I elaborated, discuss so that you can properly understand this one. So in the same stage, what are the ego strengths I will discuss now. The same stage. Please focus on these stages. If any teacher is there or any occupational therapist is there or special educator are there, these are very, very important elements. They all adopt. In Western schools, they adopt this education system basically. So what are the strengths? Here, subsequently, in the later stages, Erik Erikson gave but two virtues. One is not only hope, subsequently secondary virtue developed, that is a drive. So you will take initiative also. You are self-driven. So what are the ego strengths develops during this period? You will develop faith in yourself and others. You will have basic feeling that everything will be okay. Optimism will be there. And with that, you will develop inner calm in the subsequent period, subsequent stages when you face the crisis. So another at the last, he gave the final version. In that version, he says, this resolution culminates in old age as appreciation of independence and relatedness. Not only independent at that aspect, he downgrades independence and then says interdependence and the relatedness will become more appropriate, and he will be appreciating that in the old age. That is, but naturally the old age, interdependence and relatedness will be there. So this is entire element, stages development. I will repeat so that you can understand all other. If time may not be permitting, you can easily understand other aspects and use them. First one is first stage, 0 to 18 months. And the existential problem for the question for the child is, infant is, can I trust the world? Will my next one is, will my needs be fulfilled? Then who is taking care? Who is the principal person here? Significant person with whom relation our mother. Depending on mother's dependability, trustworthiness, and consistently giving, lovely giving, affectionately giving the needs, what requirements of the infant leads to the trust virtue. Otherwise, wise fear will be developing. If trust is there, hope will be developing. And then this leads to smaller of, if fear is there or non-resolution, negative resolution or unsuccessful resolution is there, it leads to sensory distortion. And finally, more severe problem, that is withdrawal. You see this, and the old age, this trust what mother gave, make the child, when he become old, interdependent and relatedness, so that social phenomena, social good concept will be there. Now, one question we will ask now. Do orphan children find it difficult to negotiate problems in the later stages? Can anybody tell? I will repeat the question. I have discussed about the crisis resolution problem, blah, 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 blah. Orphan means no parents. Please remember orphan. Question, important question. Do orphaned children find it difficult to negotiate problems in later stages? Can anybody?
Yes, sir.
No, they will find solutions in the future, sir.
Any other?
They find the problem, sir, because lack of confidence and dependability on the people.
Good, excellent. Orphaned means,
Dependability on the people.
yes, excellent, excellent, good. That is actually observed in the society. Orphan children will not be having trust most of the times because parents are not there, their needs are not fulfilled. So automatically trust part will be replaced by mistrust. So problems will be there, and that's why it will become a problem for them to negotiate their own problems in the later stages. Next question. Do you think the deficits or the deprivations faced by orphan children in their early stages could be overcome all of a sudden? Can we?
Not suddenly, sir. It takes some time.
Yeah, very.
Sir, can you repeat the question? Do you think?
Do you think these deficits, whatever mistrust, the not catering the needs of the children, the infant develops the mistrust due to the deprivation of those his needs. This orphan child, what he derived in the early stage, in the infant stage of mistrust, can he overcome in the next stage or immediately? Can that mistrust be converted into trust overnight or within a month?
No, sir.
It is not, because we already in epigenetics, we discussed that each stage has a time span and a crisis period. That critical period is lapsed, meaning it takes a lot of time to restore it. We have discussed the personality development critical periods, different issues. Now we are not going there, but here it takes time to develop that with the support of the society, the governmental support or volunteer support. So many issues are there. Whoever volunteers are there here, social workers are there, they have to consider these points. It is very educative subject, very useful for social workers, teachers, parents, married persons, or job seekers. We will see one after the other. So next stage is the next stage is between 18 months to 3 years, same as rights. Here, who is more significant persons, who are the what relationship is more important is parents, with the parents. Parental relationship is more and more important. What is the existential question of this toddler? Is it okay to be me? Is it okay to be? Why he is asking? Because the crisis in this period is autonomy. Can I do? Will they allow me to do? I want to do it. Will they stop me? Or will they not encourage me? This is the question he will be having during this period. So here, what are the activities parents undertaking for the child? He will be teaching toilet training, how to clothe themselves, and muscle control, walking, running, bodily functions, and fast activities. These will be given, taught by the parents to the toddler. So here what happens once the child takes initiative, it is not freedom to act, don't use the word initiative, next stage it is there. Once he gets the freedom to do, here he develops willpower. Willpower will be done. That means determination will be there. And secondary virtue, what it develops is self-control. One is willpower, primary virtue is willpower, secondary virtue is self-control. So if this is not resolved, his freedom is not given, then you want to dress, you don't want, you tell him that it is shame, don't dress in front of all. Something he give, then that person starts developing shame and doubt. Can I do it? Can I undertake it? Can I complete it? All these things will be developing in his mind. So these are negative aspects. Doubt is the vice it develops if it is not resolved successfully. So will then doubt, autonomy versus shame and doubt. Then what is the maladaptation here? Impulsivity. Because they stopped me, I will do it. That is what maladaptive behavior it develops. Later stages, shamelessness develops and willfulness also develops. So as a malignancy or severe problem, what is the severe problem for this child due to the non-resolution of this crisis is compulsion, OCD-like compulsive behaviors, impulsive behaviors will be there. Toilet training, Freud also says OCD development will be there if it is not properly resolved. Right? Anal fixations will be there. Anal retention child and anal expulsion child. Right? How antisocial development child also will be developed from the unfulfillment of this crisis. Then
maladaptive behaviors, like the first one, what you said, the second is shamelessness.
first is impulsivity. He wants to do it impulsively. That means what he does instant satiation. Like that. Impulsivity is also very fast. They want to do to get it. Impulsivity develops. Subsequently develops shamelessness.
Okay. Thank you.
His inhibition will be there. He won't care about the opinion of others. He will be doing shamelessly. Okay. That if further it is developed, further it is not resolved in the later stages, it leads to compulsion. Impulsion, compulsion, please remember it. Now, if it is resolved properly, what are the strengths added to the self, your ego? What in your personality, what are your strengths? Self-determination,
Self-confidence, self-control.
confidence, self-control, self-reliance. So independent of thoughts, taking responsibility, and proper judgment will be added to his personality. So some people say that my child don't know what course he has to do. He's not telling whether to do sciences, arts, or anything, different disciplines. He is unable to decide. Where the problem is? Problem is there in the toddler stage. He is not deterministic. He is depending on others always. Dependent personality. There are different personality types. Dependent personality can be traced back to the toddler stage where autonomy is not there for him. Freedom is not there. Freedom of choice is not there for him. Parents say, you wear this dress only. The boy says, no, I want that dress. Please give me. You are not giving what his choice is. That leads to lack of self-determination. So whenever you are counseling, a person comes with particular personality type, you can see OCD type or dependent personality type, you can come back here and check his life. Ask few questions and counsel. Next, third stage, you will see it. This is 3 to 5 years. Who is important person? Here is entire family. Brothers, sisters, grandma, grandfather, all these persons will come into picture here. What is his basic question? Basic existential question is it okay for me to do, to act, to move? This is, can I take initiative to do things? Is it okay for me? Is it okay to others? Will they allow me to act? First, earlier stage it is freedom. Here it is initiative to act. New initiative. Here 1 to 3 to 5 years, the issue is initiative. If the initiative is not given for the kid, he develops guilt. He develops feeling of unworthiness. No, I cannot do it. I'm useless fellow. I can't do it. So what are the activities here you doing? Either preschool activities. What are they? Exploration, discovery, adventures, play mode, always playing, either outside or inside. He wants to be outside only. Some children says, no, I don't come to home. I want to play. Take me out. This is the part of life in the age of 3 to 5 years. So here, this initiative is fulfilled. Many parents will not entertain that. No, don't play, don't act, don't touch the toy, don't touch TV, all these so many restrictions will be there. Here he thinks that there is no purpose for me. Also think that I am unworthy, I cannot do it. The confidence is further eroded. Earlier stage is eroded, further eroded here. So if it is initiative is given, he thinks, oh, there is a purpose in life to do different activities, different people. You can meet with different people, different engagements. different events, different groups. So here, the second virtue, the resolution gives is a direction to the life. What is that? Sense of purpose, decision making, working with others, leading others. Initiative means leadership quality, right? So, your creativity, ability to define personal direction, aims and goals fixation. These people will easily do it. Those whom the parents entertain, society encourage initiative. Otherwise, they will be good. Even good thing he does, he thinks, I might have done wrong. I might have done wrong. That guilt feeling will be there. I should not have done this. But what dad says, what mom says, what teacher says. These are the thoughts. This we should curb. As a teacher or as a parent, in this stage, we should not. At least encourage. If not completely entertaining it, you have to encourage it. So this, otherwise, what is happening? What is the maladaptation and the malignancy? Maladaptation means less severe problem. Malignancy means highly severe problem. Here, what is the maladaptation here? Ruthlessness, mercilessly you will be acting. So malignancy is inhibition. He won't express anything. Now you are not allowing me to talk, to act, to decide, to go, to play. Now he thinks, what is the life? Whatever I do, parents are not allowing, teacher is not allowing, neighbor is not allowing, something like that. Then there will be inhibition in doing activities. Shyness, inhibition will be there in these people. So this is the third stage. All teachers, occupational OTs, special educators, parents, or social workers should know this. Now we will go to fourth stage. The fourth stage, 5 to 13 years of age. The main significant people, the relations developed during this period, fourth stage is neighbors and the school teachers. All these people will be playing more important role in development of personality during the period. What is the crisis here? This crisis leads to the personality development, what we discussed earlier in epigenetics. The crisis, what is that? Industry versus inferiority. Once it takes initiative in the early stages, now it helps him to immediately adopt industry, work hard in the school. I want to become topper. I want to do best. This type of, let me work hard. So doing homework in time. These are all characters of industry. So where he exhibits? Exhibits in the education, basically exhibits in the schools or sports. What is the existential question here? Can I make it? Can I make it even though many people are there around me? Many things are there around me. Can I get it? Can I make it? Can I complete it? This is, let me complete. Let me work it. Let me take up it. These are all the activities he takes from that question. Where what is the crisis? We discuss industry versus inferiority. If he is getting ranks, appreciation, recognition, and completing the task, and that industry is a hard work. Industry means here working hard. That is recognized, then it gives the sense of competency, ability. I am able person. I can do it. I can learn it. I can complete it. This size of competency develops. If it is not encouraged by the school and the teacher during this period, there will be the development of the feeling of vice, that is incompetency. No, Baba, I can't do it. I can't play. I can't complete the homework. I can't do this assignment. I cannot do this project work. So this lack of self-esteem will be forming here. So the school, what are the activities you told, already told about the assignments and project work, sports, leadership, all this we discussed. And friendship with the neighbors, amicable with the neighborhood, and he is seeing the achievements and the accomplishment, appreciation, recognition during this period. So what is the basic virtue one develops here during this period is competency, and secondary virtue one develop is method of doing, a planned method of way of doing the things. He developed methods here, competency and methods during this period, school age, early school age. What are the strengths he adds to his personality? Making things, producing results, feeling valued, capable of contributing, confidence to seek and respond to the challenges, and learning things. This is about this. What are the malignancy and maladaptiveness? In the fourth stage, he develops narrow virtuosity. He cannot recognize the reality during this period. Then malignancy is inertia, because initiate this industry is not allowed. Hard work is not allowed. Mother says, no, no, you cannot do this. Your health is disturbed, or you will become a bad boy. Don't undertake all these activities. If the such type of controls are there, child will be developing incompetencies. Subsequently, he develops inertia to do it. Lazy fellow. He will become lazy and lethargic. So if anybody is there in the adulthood also, whether it is son or daughter or husband or wife, lazy person is there, go and track his life stage development as told by Erik Erikson. Observe what happened during 5 and 13 years. What happened to his industry? What happened to his hard work? Whether teacher and parents encouraged or not. These are the things contribute to this lazy personality.
So all these issues can be treated through counseling.
Treated to not counseling one part. The second part is they should have we should motivate first. They should have will to do overcome that one. So the concept called motivational interview, motivation enhancement therapies, motivational interview, change stages of change. There are different things are there we can make, but you should do that homework assignment. Okay.
Like we see so many people like in families also, like the things which you just addressed, the parents don't allow them to do anything. Like we have seen so many families, so many brilliant kids being not allowed to do simple things. So they have developed so many issues. Now they are facing so many issues. So can that be corrected now?
Correct. Slowly they will be correct. Especially in the childhood, it will be relatively fast compared to the later stage.
Like now they are in teens, so we can correct them through counseling, or children will overcome that through seeing other people, or just like by themselves.
They can be, there are different issues are there. Behavioral therapy is there, cognitive behavioral therapy is there, motivation interview techniques are there. So many issues are there. So many techniques are there that they can be.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You are having behavior therapy, observational learning, so many therapies are theories are there. We will discuss there. We also, you raise this point, those elements we can take. Reward and punishment, observational learning, modeling, identification. We can take with the shall we continue? Now time may not be sufficient for this, so we will go fast now, another 15 minutes is there. But very
Yes,
slowly going, we encourage you to adopt this. So the fifth stage is very, very important. Adolescence counseling one has to do means whether the boy, the adolescent boy is behaving nastily or becoming antisocial or becoming a drug addict or making friendship with wrong persons. So many issues will be developing because adolescence is very dangerous. So, in order, the major crisis during the period is identity. Erickson says identity is the major crisis here. Parents think that that person is still a boy. He cannot undertake responsibilities. So parents won't assign him. Parent won't take their ideas into consideration. Then it's that I am still a child. Then when you take initiative and do things, they say, no, no, you are not adult. You are still a kid. You have to grow up. You cannot take up these actions. Once he takes up and fails, says that you are posing like an adult. You should know your limit. You cannot do like that. You should not do like that. That this concept will get. So once the parents are treating, society is teaching, sorry, society is treating the adolescent person like this, then he thinks that what is my role in the society and family? Am I kid or adult? Next stage is adult. No, adolescence next stage adult. Where I am, what activities I have to take. This crisis makes havoc in their life. Now we'll see what is the crisis here.
Identity.
Yeah, identity versus confusion.
Confusion.
What is my job? What job I have to take? What education I have to do? What activities I have to take? What is my role? This comes. What are the important personality or people who are the important people come in this? Are peers and
Parents. Parents.
not parents. In this age, they are filled with the friends. They won't. They come to home late. They spend time with the friends. Adventurous life they want to live. They want to taste everything like cigarette, smoking, or drugs, or sex. This type of psychology will be there. Experimentation, adventurous behavior will be there. So here, what is happening? Crisis identity versus confusion.
Role confusion, sir.
Role confusion will be there. So this leads to the basic question: who am I? What can I be? This is the basic existential question. If the society or the socio-cultural field is not supporting him, environment means other than him, including family, parents, friends, and others, including friends, right? So this where the problem comes, why parents control the adults and children here is regarding social relationships. With the friends or boyfriend or girlfriend or society, either roaming with elders or doing activities of social groups. And here, who influences? Peers influences. So once they take up certain activities which are positive activities, not encouraged by parent or encouraged by parent, this side is the crisis. Once he allowed to do good things, make friendship with others, mobile relationship are improved. If that is not encouraged, then he develops role confusion. And if properly resolved, he develops fidelity in others and he develops devotion towards others. So what are the strengths he develops? Self-confidence, self-esteem, freely associate with people, and ideas based on merit. He always see positive element. So here what we have to encourage is positive elements, positive relationship with the positive people, positive habits. This we have to encourage during. Now, what is the malignancy, maladaptation, malignancy? Maladaptation, malignancy. Here he develops a mute yourself, mom. He develops repudiation. So this is the critical period.
Manjula ma'am, please mute your mic.
Thank you. So here the sixth stage is adulthood. Here the question is, can I love? Here he comes to intimacy. So intimacy versus isolation is the crisis here. So the example is a romantic relationship, vision or ideation about the future, family, children, a house, and other aspects related to the family will be there. Ideation will be there. So who are the significant persons? Partner and friends. During this period, partners and friends. The problem with the partner is some partners inhibit the relationship with the friends during this period. That also leads to the crisis in this. So that leads to the isolation. If that is not properly dealt with, it leads to the isolation. We think that this period is only the relation between the partners, not only partner, relation between the friends also. So this you positively resolve, it leaves the love. If the love is not
అది నాకు మొన్న నాకు రాల ఉప్పు నీళ్ళు తాగుతా అట్లా పడి. అది ఆపరేషన్ చేశారు కదా.
మంజులా గారు మ్యూట్ చేయండి.
okay, right. So one. Here, love, if that love is not properly, healthy love is not encouraged, that leads to promiscuity, extramarital life, and related issues will be developed. That the maladaptation is promiscuity, and then malignancy is exclusiveness. They will be the feeling isolated one way from the partner and the friends. So here, the intimacy is a secondary attribute is affiliation. The positive strengths are capability to give back and receive the love, emotionally, physically, form honest relationship and friendship, capacity to build bondage, reliable bondage, commitment, and reciprocity, and towards the good. Then seventh one is 40 to 65 years, middle age. Here the crisis is the generativity versus stagnation. Generativity means production. It could be establishing, giving job to others, or establishing yourself, and that activity is not taken. Sorry, here the significant relationships are household and workmates. Office, remember office here. The existential question is, can I make my life count? So what are the example is establishing office or workplace, and he also during generativity includes not only productivity, but also producing the children, and parenthood comes. So if it is positively resolved, it gives care. If not resolved, it gives selfishness. So what is the second attribute is care production. What is the strength added are giving unconditionally support to the children and others, contributing to the greater extent for the good and productivity of the society, helping others through their own crisis stages. So here major concept is contribution and giving back. So I'll say woman feels that they are stagnated in their life. So the unworthiness type of thing will be developing. The maladaptation is over extension and exertion, and malignancy is rejectability. This is leads to isolation, suicidal thoughts, depression. So many issues will be developing here. So eighth one is, last one is integrity versus despite. Old age, above 50 or 65 and old age, existence can easy to okay to have been me. Here, the significant people are mankind and my kind, myself and the world. Universalism, humanism will be there. Here, the main, the positive virtue is integrity in terms of honesty and recognition or movement with the people, the behavior will be there. If it is not met, if there is no reflections on the life, then it leads to despair. Despair means hopelessness. Then here he starts, if it is not positively resolved, despair leads to presumptions about everything. And then if the presumptions are there, if they are not met, if they are improper, unrealistic, it leads to disdain further. So complete isolation will be there during this period. So first we thought that trust and mistrust are there. In the later stages, there will be relationships, building interdependency, and more effectiveness, affections. This will be there in that person. If you see the last one, last malignancy is meeting with meeting with the non the fulfillment in the early stage, first stage, that is withdrawal. Their withdrawal, here isolation, complete isolation, suicidal thought. One, life is waste, living is waste, not worth living. This is about the entire picture. So I sent the entire table. I will try to make it and post it in your group about this. So education, where it is useful is allow children to take charge of their learning process, giving them more initiative and making them more productive and giving more self-confidence, appreciating and prize as a rewards, help them their worthiness will be increased. It provides continuous feedback to keep them abreast with the latest cultural developments. They will become a good citizens. Oh, this from education field. For counseling field, it is highly useful for any field. We should know when child comes, if you want to test them, not only social development or physical development or cognitive development, we have to see the psychosocial development, psychosexual development also. Okay, this is all about Eric Erickson. Any doubts, please? 3 minutes left. Most useful among all is this. So if no questions, I will review. It is based on, one is ego psychology, where ego takes predominant role. Ego develops from crisis. Crisis, if it is resolved, then there will be virtues. If it is not resolved, there will be vices. If it is resolved, ego strength will be added. Unresolved, ego weaknesses will be added. And from the psychological perspective, it leads to maladaptation in dealing with the others and the self. If maladaptation is further aggravated, it leads to malignancy in the stage. This is essence of all this theory of psychosocial development of Erik Erikson. Okay.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
1 more minute is there. Okay. It will be cut out. It will be disconnected automatically.
Janaganamana.
So every stage you have to think a word of caution that is there in the education. In every stage you have to think about the wise word of caution. For example, first stage word of caution is creating secure environment and making child feel safe by catering his needs. If stage two, where toddler is there, so autonomy will be there. Provide sensible options. You want freedom there. Give him options. Suppose you want to purchase shirt, you want to purchase that. You give him options, hot shirt, 1 or 2, 3. Don't force. Such things will promote a sense of autonomy or independence in the child. Okay. Every stage you develop like this, then you can give counseling. In old age counseling also very important. When a old age person comes, you have to go back to the previous stage, whether it is resolved or not, whether care is there or not, you have to see it. Generativity versus there is stagnation or progress. Depending on that, then this current stage is there. Whether is dependent or independent, you can decide. Depending on that, you can give them. And also what is his feeling there, withdrawal or isolated, that you have to give the counseling. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Good.
So main, I just wanted like, as I mentioned earlier, so I have so many of my friends who are facing the problem like when they were raising their kids, so very good families, but when they were raising the kids, so many like when they used to come from outside India, so
Yeah.
many restrictions here, not allowed to go out with normal people here, no, even cousins here. So they are very shy and very introvert till now. Now they have come for admissions in higher education. So they are facing a lot of problems and like as you said, what to decide, they are still confused.
Yeah. So because if they are coming from abroad, then social culture, their culture is different, here culture is different. So that
Mhm.
cultural dilemma also we have to take into consideration.
They came in like high school here. So first 2 3 years were in COVID, so they didn't had much to observe here. So now last final stages were like in 10th and 11th, they were exposed to people here and got less opportunities to improve them. So now for pursuing higher education, so they are like what to do, like way to approach, and
Yeah.
still depend on parents or can we decide. So
That,
and very repulsive, like everything what then very less communication between parents and children. So I'm just like worried about how to help them.
then when that such children comes, not only this table, other things are, when you consider about this theory, take this table, ask questions about each stage, earlier stages, where the
Hmm.
how the parenting style is and how
Hmm.
their behavior is with the interpersonal relations are there. That you have to consider, take the points from this table.
Hmm. Yeah, okay.
That other counseling part, it won't help, but for diagnosis, it helps. But when
Hmm.
the child is in particular stage, there it is helpful for counseling, which aspect you have to give. For
Hmm.
12 years child comes, you can, the crisis is there is industry versus inferiority. So focus,
Hmm.
encourage, ask the parents to encourage the industry there.
Okay. Hmm. Hmm.
That will avoid inferiority. Two things,
Hmm.
there is a crisis there. Depending on that, you have to, in the current stage, it is useful for parenting and counseling. But age passes and concept become more difficult. We have to take help of other diagnostic tools also.
Hmm. Okay. Okay.
Helpful in understanding the personality.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Thank you, sir.
Shall I disconnect?
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.